Hello and welcome back, guys. This is the first devlog on a little game I have started recently, and I thought I might try making a devlog about it. It's a small 3D RPG called Swoosh. I know, great name. That was inspired by an anime I rewatched recently where an emo kid basically just goes with a sword. Some of you might also know it as SAO. The story is pretty meh, but the game has a really cool idea. In the anime, people are basically stuck inside the game.
Oh, and if you die in here, you die in real life.
If they die there, they die IRL and so on. And I want to create something similar. Basically something that makes dying inside of the game bad and encourages you to play good. Like you only have 3 tries to win the game and then you have to restart or something similar. I might change it later if it's too frustrating for the player, but at the moment I'm for it. It could also in theory be just something like a difficulty level, but yeah, I don't know, it's just an idea. Another thing is that the game in the anime has multiple worlds, in total 100. Yeah, there's no way I'm modeling 100 different worlds, so I shrunk that number down quickly to 5. Seeing that it took me quite long to make the first level, and I want to have cool levels rather than many levels. And I do want to finish this game someday. Oh, and by the way, I want to make it co-op multiplayer too, with like up to 4 or 5 people in one party. Yeah, I hate myself too. So with an idea in mind, I just opened Unity and just started creating the game. The first thing I wanted to tackle was the world. As the player is going to have to spend a lot of time in it, it should look good, which I'm sadly quite bad at. So wanting it to look good, the first thing I did was of course borrow a few assets from some actually talented people of the Unity marketplace, which was just extremely helpful. May the gods of the Unity marketplace live forever and beyond and bring thy wonderful free assets. Now, with some cool textures in my hands, I immediately started modeling the start area for the player. I wanted to create something of a portal-like thing, as the players of SAO were teleported into the game, and I wanted to do something similar here. By the way, I love just how the stone up there glows. I'm really proud of myself here. Yeah, and after placing in some cool rocks around it and stuff, I was basically finished. The area around it was, however, looking really dull, and after banging my head against my keyboard multiple times, I managed to place down some trees and make grass work properly without having 2 frames a second. Yeah, the grass was a really big problem, as I used a 3D mesh, basically a 3D model, which, yeah, it's just sucked up my frames, and so I just used a texture. Thank you to the guy on YouTube who told me to use just a 2D texture. And yeah, now it works. And at the end of the day, I was quite sleepy, and I added the gnome. Don't ask me why I myself am clueless as you are about my mind. Interesting, the audio was the hardest part here, as I was able to hear his screams over the entire map, which of course wasn't scary enough, like hearing him get louder when he came closer.
Hello, there, old chum. I'm a gnome, and you've been gnomed!
In the end, it turned out I just had to turn a small slider from 2D to 3D, like always, just 30 minutes wasted of my life, yay. I also made him go kaboom, because why not? And with that in place, I went to bed. The next day I wanted to work on adding another enemy in the game. This time, I wanted to add a stone golem, which would be like the most difficult enemy in the first world, or the second world, or maybe a boss between both worlds. I don't know. The only problem was the modeling of the enemy. I modeled the gnome in Unity, but I noticed quite early that this was not the way to go. Now, most people will tell you to use something like Blender. I myself, however, don't quite like Blender that much. I therefore asked a friend of mine about what he had used in the past to create some Minecraft resource pack models, as they always looked quite cool. And he showed me a program called Blockbench. And I have to say, I love it. It makes modeling easy, and the enemies have that cool Hytale game style to them, which I quite enjoy. So after I got a bit used to the controls, I modeled a golem and his sword. Putting them into the game, however, was a whole other thing. for anyone trying to do the same, export as a collada model, as it actually gives you an entire tree of your project together with all of the here 3D model things. Exporting it as an OBJ actually gives you the entire model as one, and the other stuff just didn't work. So yeah, export as a collada. And with the golem in the game, I then animated a few things like an idle animation, which I do think looks quite well. Currently prototype walking animation, which I might change later. It just took over quite long, and I actually also experimented with inverse kinematics. Yeah, that didn't actually work quite well for me, and I just thought, nah, I'ma just use the basic walking animation I'm doing here. And I added a really cool attack animation that has like a really cool particle effect when hitting the ground, which I love. And I'm thinking that when players have to fight, they have to basically jump over that white cloud of smoke that comes around. It's like a force thingy. So yeah, I think that's quite cool. And the idea of having this as the first boss the players encounter, as they are going to be basically 5 bosses. Every time you want to basically go to another level, you have to clear the bosses of that. And I think maybe that either this level or the next level is going to have a village in them where players can start to trade with villagers, but I still don't know. And basically then the players can travel between the levels they already have cleared and yeah, and explore the world around them. I do still, however, have to add an AI to this golem, as well as gnome. Currently the gnome AI is just, once you see a player in your near vicinity, just always look at him and go forward. However, with the trees now actually having collider, that doesn't work anymore, so I have to look into the nav mesh agent from Unity, like that 3D pathfinding agent. However, that's like something for future me, and yeah, that's currently the state of the game. If you have any ideas of what I could add or make better, what things I've overlooked, and what things could actually help my performance in-game, well, I would love to see that in the comments. And for now, I would say goodbye, and see you later.